So I tried to get the best lighting conditions possible in the garage. I've actually got two big halogen light bulbs. But basically I'm going to give you a quick update on the go-kart. Now obviously this is the Wasp that you're all familiar with, that used to have the little GX390 on it that is currently sat right there. So he has now come off and he's going to go on the Manco. And there's the my GX390 sitting on the floor. It's got all its intakes and everything ported up, and the exhaust and everything all ported up so that nothing can get inside of it whilst it's sat still on the ground. But basically what I'm gonna do is, that engine is now going on there, so we've had to devise this plate system to put the engine on. Don't worry about all these iron filings, they all came from the engine's mounting on the bottom there, but don't worry about that. So basically the engine's going to sit on these 4 bolts. And the reason it's not on there at the moment is because we're going to make some more modifications to the plate, like that bottom plate there. This has got to be cut out another bit, and this bolt hole re-drilled further back down here so that we can get more forwards movement on the engine towards the jack shaft, so that this will be closer to the 40 series torque converter clutch there. So then that'll all work. We've also got to take a link out of the chain and stuff like that. But I'll show you how it all fits on and then bring you in for a closer look. Now the engine is in, as you saw. There's the 40 series clutch, and there's the 40 series pulley on the jack shaft setup that we've got down here. Now the engine wants to come forwards just a touch more, about an inch more, to bring the pulley and the clutch closer together to give us a perfect optimum drive position, because at the moment the engine's just too far back. Once that's done, she wants to come this way a little bit, further this way, which means that we're going to have to actually drill out the little mounting holes that the bolts go in, but that's only going to be like 5mm, so that the engine can just come this way along this plate a little bit more. So that should be no reason why that should be a very hard job. And then bolt it all up, and then after that's done, if we come around the back here, you can see the chain and the sprocket. No, they aren't completely lined up. So what we're going to do is, we're going to see this back sprocket here, we're going to undo the set screw and just tap it along the axle this way a little bit to line up with the jack shaft at the other end. And as far as clearance, the engine clears the brake perfectly, and as far as that, it fits fine. And don't worry about this missing section of pipe here. We may end up putting it back in, we don't know yet, but the way it sits, it hasn't really compromised any strength whatsoever from this already heavily overbuilt chassis, as you can see. We don't know yet, we may put it back in for aesthetics, but nah, I don't really think it's worth it. I think the plan was originally to, because with this engine, obviously I've got the high flow air filter which sticks out here, and when I go back to when it's winter time, I like to put the original one back on so that it doesn't suck all the water and the crap in when we're using it when it's wet. So we're probably just going to end up cutting this bar off about here somewhere, so that there's none of this right angle bend here, it just sort of ends there, so that we can put the air filter stack back on there. So I think that's what we're going to do along the lines of that. But yeah, apart from that, the engine seems to fit. Now, to actually get the jack shaft in, because obviously you've got the 40 series there. Now originally with the GX390, these two bearings sat up on about 2.5 inch of steel. One of them's actually, I've actually bolted it to the back because we can't get it off the brake line, because I don't really want to touch that mess on the back of the brake. So it's just bolted there. But they were bolted up on 2 blocks like that, which meant that the engine 1-inch clutch always hit the pulley, and also the seat would hit the pulley as well, because it's a racing style bucket seat that goes in this. So basically we took those out and dropped it down onto the chassis. It gave us that amount of room that we needed to fit it in there, really. So and it actually looks like a proper setup in there now. So yeah, so about 3 more hours and the GX390 should be ready to rock on the Wasp frame. So yeah, let's get to it. Also, something that I forgot to mention on the before I stopped recording just a minute ago was we also removed the bar that comes from here down to here. Now obviously you can see we still got the main outer sections there and all the way up there, but we just thought that that centre bar didn't really do anything, and at the point of the time where we cut it out, we thought that we needed an extra amount of movement to move this engine back a little bit more. Turns out we didn't need it, so we cut it out for basically nothing, but it doesn't really matter, it's not really compromising anything, so yeah.